The zone, as you know, the D.C. area real estate market has been showing signs of slowdowns, a dip, you know, all kinds of things that people, we want to know what's the truth, what's the story. Corey Burr, Senior Vice President at TTR Sotheby's International Realty, joining us now. Okay, so give us the lowdown here, because I think everybody has preconceived notions of what the market is doing, especially here in the DMV. What do we know?
What we know is that for the first time in 6 years, we've got a neutral market. And it feels like it's a little slower, but in reality, it's historically how a market should be. We've got 32% more houses on the market than this time last year. Yet prices are up 8% on the median price year over year. So it's still good news for sellers that prices are going up, but it's great news for buyers that they've got more choices for the first time in a long time.
So the inventory seems like they're sparking. I mean, it is the spring market, right? And traditionally, this is when things get on the market. When we're seeing, are you seeing a little bit of a slowdown comparatively for the traditional spring market?
What we saw after what's called Liberation Day on April 2nd with the tariff policy, that was like a gut punch to us because consumer confidence went through the floor.
Yeah.
So it really seized our market for about 2.5 weeks. But in the last 10 days or so, it's really started to come back strongly.
We know that the Fed was thinking about talking interest rates. It seems as though they're not going to make a decision on that. And that also weighs heavily on some people who are looking at trying to find, I know it's hard to let go of those rates from the pandemic because we know that those were historically low. We're still low in the average of history, right? What are we sitting at roughly? I know it's hard to tell, but on average.
This morning I saw 6.5 on a 30-year fixed. ARMs are in the upper fives. A 15-year fixed is in the mid fives. So yes, it's a hard trade for somebody who's got something around 3, but historically it's about what it is.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that gradually as we get through the year, we're going to get down into the 5s.
Okay, so you say that it's been a seller's market for several years. How exactly is that changing? Because it's hard to tell, like, is it a buyer's market? Is this, you were talking about that a little bit, but how are we feeling right now about like the give and take with the seller and the buyer?
So this is how we see it. Every new listing is a seller's market for the first week, but after that, every passing day becomes more of a buyer's market. So the advice to a seller is price your house reasonably to make the most of that first splash weekend to get interest in your property.
You don't want it sitting there for that long. And
right.
At that point, then you can start negotiating as a buyer and coming in maybe below asking price to see what, you know, someone will take. Are you seeing that these houses are sitting on the market for a long time, or what's the average time?
So the average days on the market is 21, which is 3 days more than this time last year, which 21 days is still a pretty fast sale, but it is longer than what we've seen over the last 5 years. So again, it points to more of a neutral market where buyers have a little bit more say over price and other terms.
Are people moving back into the city? We saw that mass exodus of getting out of urban environments in the pandemic. What are the trends that you're seeing right now as it relates to what people are looking for and how people are selling?
I think that people, their least favorite thing is to sit in traffic, and they will do almost anything to not have to face that. So we are seeing more people coming back into the district.
All right. Well, it's going to cost you even more if you want to come closer into the city. We know that much. But Corey, always good to see you to give us the trends, give us the latest. 21 days, price it right so it doesn't sit on there on that market for too long. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Marina.